secret stealth fighter has been leaked. The Boeing Bird of Prey was a stealthy prototype plane designed to show off stealth technology. It was created in the 1990s by McDonnell Douglas and Boeing. The corporation contributed $67 million to the project, making it a low-cost program in comparison to many other similar scale initiatives. It created technology and materials that would subsequently be used in Boeing's unmanned combat air vehicle, the X-45. Want to discover what became of the Bird of Prey? Then stay till the end of the video. The Bird of Prey was first developed in 1992 in Area 51 by McDonnell Douglas Phantom Works division for special projects. The aircraft's name is a reference to the Star Trek television series Klingon Bird of Prey battleship. After the Boeing-McDonnell Douglas merger in 1997, Phantom Works became part of Boeing Integrated Defense Systems. The first flight took place in 1996, and there was a total of 39 flights before the program ended in 1999. The Bird of Prey was built to avoid shadows and is thought to have been used to explore active camouflage, which involves changing the color or luminosity of its surfaces to fit the environment. The Bird of Prey employed a commercial off-the-shelf turbofan engine and manual hydraulic controls rather than fly-by-wire because it was a demonstration aircraft. This cut the development time in half and cut the cost in half. Computerized controls would be a standard on the production plane. The design is aerodynamically stable enough to fly without the aid of a computer. The chines, which are also utilized in other planes like the SR-71 Blackbird, contribute to its aerodynamic stability. In flight, this produced lift for the nose. The X-45 and X-47 tailless aircraft that use drag rudders, asymmetrically used wingtip air brakes for yaw control, adopt this design, which can be stable without a horizontal tailplane and a normal vertical rudder. On October 18, 2002, this aircraft, which had been given the cover designation YF-118G, was made public. Unlike Lockheed and Northrop's high-performance stealth fighters, which received direct government support, McDonnell Douglas was solely responsible for the creation of their new stealth aircraft. To ensure that all of that money didn't go to waste, they enlisted Alan Wakeman to lead charge. Wakeman began his stealth career at Lockheed's Skunk Works, where he worked on the Have Blue program and its operational descendant, the aforementioned F-117 Nighthawk, before assisting in the development of Lockheed's Sea Shadow stealth warship program for the U.S. Navy. After the Air Force rejected McDonnell Douglas's advanced tactical fighter proposal in favor of Lockheed's YF-22 and Northrop's YF-23, the company engaged Wakeman to get their low observable efforts back on track and to help form their Phantom Works branch. Work on the YF-118G project began in 1992 under the name YF-118G. Because Wakeman's team at the Phantom Works had to be cost-conscious, they used the then unique approach to fast prototyping when designing their new stealth aircraft. The Phantom Works team employed computers to aid in their design work, modeling performance to the best of the era's computing capability, rather than designing actual prototypes, putting them to testing, making adjustments, and fielding new prototypes for further testing. As a result, they were able to create prototype components that were far closer to the final product than previous methods allowed. The YF-118G team didn't stop there when it came to coming up with fresh ways to build this new plane. They also used cutting-edge single-piece composite structure designs to minimize many of the body panel seams that might detract from an aircraft's stealth profile. One of the more difficult components of stealth aircraft building is producing aircraft with no significant seams or microscopic gaps between body panels attached to the aircraft. In fact, some claim that it's a problem that Russian stealth fighter programs are still grappling with today. However, Wakeman and his team didn't want to recreate the wheel, so they used as many off-the-shelf components as possible to cut costs and speed up the design process. The Pratt & Whitney JT-15D5C turbofan engine with 3,190 pounds of power would have been more suited to a Cessna business jet. The ejection seat was taken from an AV-8B Harrier, while the control stick and throttle were taken from an FA-18 Hornet, and the rudder pedals were taken from an A-4 Skyhawk. Wakeman's team had a flyable prototype ready to verify the efficacy of their technique by 1996, 4 years after the work began. They built a 47-foot single-engine, single-seat technology demonstration, which was somewhat larger than an F-16 Fighting Falcon. Its angular goal-shaped wings were drastically different from other fighter designs, angling up and then down for a total span of only 23 feet or 10 10 feet less than the F-16. The blended fuselage and complete lack of a tail section were the most noticeable departures from standard fighter design. The plane's shape, the use of flexible or movable covers to disguise gaps, and the burying of its engine deep below the fuselage behind a curved inlet duct and in front of an infrared and acoustic diffusing exhaust outlet were all used to reduce radar, infrared, optical, and acoustic signals. Instead of an actual designator, the team dubbed the aircraft Bird of Prey due to its resemblance to the fictional Klingon Bird of Prey starship from the Star Trek franchise. The Bird of Prey first flew over Groom Lake, also known as Area 51, on September 11, 1996, with Air Force Colonel Doug Benjamin at the controls. Boeing's Bird of Prey relied on stealth rather than outstanding performance to get the job done, much like its namesake, which would cloak to conceal from hostile starships. Colonel Benjamin took the plane off the ground with its landing gear extended, revealing the first of several issues. The platform fared well in wind tunnel testing. However, all the experiments were done with the landing gear retracted. Benjamin quickly determined that the gear's drag was at least 3 times greater than they had anticipated. The plane had stability concerns as well, which were sorted out slowly and painstakingly on following flights. In the 3 years that followed, the crew flew the single Bird of Prey prototype they'd built 37 more times, when Benjamin and 2 Boeing test pilots, Rudy Hogg and Joseph W. Fellock III. Even with its tailless design and gull wings, the aircraft was considered aerodynamically stable by the time it took its final flight in 1999, even without the computer correction that newer stealth fighters rely on. The stealthy aircraft was slower than a C-130 Hercules, and its maximum operational ceiling of 20,000 feet meant it could only fly half as high as a P-51 Mustang from World War II, but like the F-117 Nighthawk Wakeman worked on before it, the Bird of Prey wasn't designed to outfly the fighters of the day. Its objectives were much broader than that. The Phantom Works team had not only proven that they could build a stealth aircraft, but they had also done so for far less. $67 million. In today's money, that means Wakeman's Phantom Works successfully developed, prototyped, and flew a clean sheet stealth platform for about $111 million, or less than the price of a single F-35B. Before we reveal what has become of the YF-118G, be sure to subscribe to get more content like this. The purpose of the project was never to create a viable fighter, but the Bird of Prey was created to test ways to make an aircraft less visible to radar and the naked eye. The aircraft flew for the last time in 1999 and was declassified 3 years later when its design techniques had become commonplace. Boeing went on to use these ideas in the development of the X-32 Joint Strike Fighter, demonstrations as well as the X-45A prototype unmanned combat air vehicle. On October 18, 2002, the aircraft, which had been given the cover designation YF-118G, was ultimately made public. On July 16, 2003, the Bird of Prey was unveiled at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio, at the National Museum of the United States Air Force. It is presently on exhibit above the museum's F-22 Raptor in the Modern Flight Gallery. Tell us in the comments section if Boeing was right to discontinue this stealth fighter. Also, check out our video on Will Russia Survive if attacked by NATO and US fighter planes.